I don't wanna be told to grow up, and I don't wanna change. I just wanna have fun. I don't wanna be told to grow up, and I'm not gonna change. I'm just gonna have fun. Are those actually the lyrics? Did I just do the same verse twice? Welcome back to Danganronpa Mauve. For real this time. It's not the last line of Ultimate Defense Academy that I called Danganronpa Mauve. We're actually back with some good old-fashioned Danganronpa Mauve. I don't know how much of this we have left, but I'm excited to see how this all continues. So let's jump right into it. So, that's how it is. They can switch the case of the album used as the murder weapon with another album. Okay, that's right. I did forget. As I was editing my other Danganronpa Mauve video, I figured out what they meant by they could have switched the book case. Because I was thinking of a book case as a bookshelf, not the cover that's on the graduation album. Gotcha. What did you say? That's right. The graduation albums of Hope's Peak Academy have the same size and thickness, making them indistinguishable. I haven't really looked at the other albums. Is that true?
I saw them too. During the investigation, every one of them looked the same. The only difference is the number written on the book's spine. In other words, all cases are identical.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, of course, not only are the cases identical, but the size and thicknesses are too. The design is a bit of a failure, isn't it? You can't tell them apart just by looking at the case, can you?
If that's the case, then what exactly happened? I understand that swap is possible, but
the reason we initially suspected the 59th class's album was involved in the crime was because blood and skin tissue were found stuck to the case containing the album. But that's an issue that can be easily manipulated by swapping out the case. True, but weren't they examining this graduation album and they found a piece of like the toilet paper stuck in the book? Doesn't that imply that they kind of like used that to clean up the book or something and it was the murder weapon? First, they kill Kizuki with an album other than the 59th album, then wait until Shinano brings the 59th album. After that, when the opportunity arises, swap the cases of the 59th album and the album used as the weapon, and it's done. Okay, but how would they have known that Shinano had that album? Unless that's what he told the, ow, my toenail. Unless that's what he told Kuzu. Because she had everybody tell them exactly where they were gonna be, when they were gonna be doing it, what they were gonna be doing, right? Maybe that was also to help her in figuring out how she is going to, like, get away with hiding certain pieces of evidence. That's crazy. I do highly suspect Kuzu now. That's scary. It's such a simple trick that it hardly qualifies as a trick at all. Yeah.
I then ask, what is culprit trying to deceive with trick?
The time of the murder, yeah. The crime happened before 4:30. The culprit was trying to hide the fact that they could have committed the crime before 4:30 p.m. We deduced the time of the crime was after 4:30 p.m. because Shinano put the 59th album in the library at 5:30 p.m., right?
But if the crime possible, according to reason, even before Shinano arrives. Understood.
What did you understand? I didn't understand it.
Doesn't that completely overturn the course of our reasoning? Then all of our alibis until now would be completely useless, wouldn't they?
Right. All the culprit did was briefly return to the scene and swap the album's case. Because of that, completely opposite interpretations have emerged.
it's quite efficient, isn't it? Even such a simple trick can cause a lot of confusion.
Hey, self-proclaimed leader. Pull out the list of alibis I gave you earlier once more. You mean this, right? Here it is. So what happens now is the culprit used a trick to make it seem like the crime occurred after 4:30 p.m. So that automatically means the crime must have happened before 4:30 p.m., right? We're assuming that, yeah, that is still an assumption. It could totally still be Miyuki. But this is important. The logic still holds that the crime occurred while the coward was leaving with the ladder. That's a deduction built without any relation to the weapon, isn't it? Absolutely. There's no doubt about that, right? Ultimately, it is concluded that the crime occurred between 4:18 p.m. and 4:30 p.m. Looking at the alibis back then, the engineer girl and the coward were together from 18 to 45 minutes, so they're excluded.
Hey, I told you to call people by their names. If you say it like that, we can't figure out who you're talking about right away.
A rather intuitive nickname, wouldn't you say? All right then. All right. Then let me tell you. Okay, so Ego and Mikawa were together from the 18-minute mark to the 45-minute mark, so they're out. Tsubaki and I were together from the 15-minute mark to 45-minute mark, so we don't apply either. That's convenient, Kuzu. It was proven by Tadaira and Justin that Sadashino was at the dining hall from 15 to 50 minutes. Tadaira and Justin, it goes without saying why they don't need to be mentioned.
Is that the end?
What happens to the remaining suspects then?
Kana, Shitanda, Shinano, Jumanji, Tomo, Miyuki. 6 people in total.
Why am I included again? Like this?
But anyway, I say women aren't capable of committing the crime, right? Can't we just exclude them? Women, am I right? We love women. They can't do anything wrong. No, it's because of the locker room thing, right? But that's not true, because the locker room doors were open.
Isn't that an outdated argument? The estimated time of crime has changed.
Even if the estimated time of the crime has changed, the fact that there was nowhere to hide the remaining tissue remains the same. Because Ego and Mikawa were in the warehouse from the 18th to the 45-minute mark, and Tsubaki and I were in the women's locker room from the 15th to the 45-minute mark. In other words, the only place to hide the toilet paper is in the men's locker room. So the logic that a man is the culprit remains intact.
And I should be excluded too. If that logic holds, then the logic that I am not the culprit will also remain intact.
Yep.
Yes, oh yeah, that's right. That's why it couldn't be him.
Then the ones remaining are
Shitanda, Shinano, and Tomo. That makes 3 of them left.
Shitanda, Shinano, and Tomo. Alright, so as long as it's not Shinano, we're fine. Right?
Oh my!
3 newly identified suspects. This time, the culprit must be among them. Right?
Can I say this? The most suspicious one seems to be Shitanda.
Understood.
Me again.
No, honestly, that's true. This isn't nitpicking or prejudice. There's a basis for it. Shitanda was one of the 3 people whose alibi was certain from the beginning, along with Justin and Tadaira. But now, isn't he one of the final suspects? If we're talking about someone who benefited from a trick, it's obviously Shitanda.
What's more, back then, all of a sudden, they even tried to deceive us, and...
Well, I can't deny this. When I hear it like this, it does seem objectively suspicious. But don't forget, Shinano, you are also one of the suspects.
It's not me. If we're calling who's the culprit, it's definitely this guy, of course. They always manage to ruin the mood, and their deductions always lead us in the wrong direction. If they're not the culprit, then who is? Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't mind if this guy ended up being dead on this occasion. Okay, Jumanji.
Whoa, what critical hit. Especially Jumanji. It really hurts to hear those words from you.
Now, the deductions are still underway. Instead of indiscriminately casting blame, perhaps you could all lower your voices.
But, Tomo, you're also one of the suspects.
That I cannot deny. In any case, I thought that logical reasoning should take priority over baseless slander.
That's right. We still need to go a step or 2 further. There must still be a way to turn 3 people into 1.
How to approach the idea will be a challenge, I suppose.
No, there's no need to bring that up. It's already blatantly revealed.
Really?
Did you figure out who the culprit is? How?
It's blatantly obvious. What does that mean?
The questions are pouring in. First off, to answer Sadashina's question, of course, that's because another clue has emerged regarding the culprit's movements. Up until now, all we knew about the culprit's movements was that they hit Kizuki at the scene and ran off,
then hid the toilet paper in the men's locker room. Right, but now they return to the scene of the crime. But because of that deduction, we've got additional information that the culprit returned to the scene and switched the case, right? Yep.
Ah, I see. So, the culprit is Mr. Shinano, who needed to return to the scene after leaving the 59th album there after 30 minutes. No?
Basically, anything after the 30-minute mark doesn't count, right? The culprit tried to frame those without alibis between the 30th and 47th minute mark, using the trick, didn't they? How long has Shinano been recording? Can't we just watch his video and see like, oh, I see. He's been recording from the 4-hour mark to the 5-hour mark. He can't be it. Of course, the culprit must have an alibi from 30 minutes to 47 minutes, so there's no way he could have gone back to the scene during that time, right? So then, the culprit would be the person without an alibi from 47 to 5 p.m., whatever?
This'll make it even narrower, right? Misaki, quickly take out that alibi list!
No, that won't be the case.
Huh? Why?
Isn't the basis for the hour something you associate with Kizuki's presumed time of death? However, re-entering the murder scene is not limited to only during the estimated time of death. It can be done at any time without any problem. If you don't hide the toilet paper immediately after the murder, the risk is high. But in the case of the weapon, it's different. It can be substituted at any time.
Still, if you get caught before you make the switch, doesn't that mean you can't use that entire trick? I think it's better to quickly rush to the scene and switch them out as soon as the 47-minute mark has passed.
If they're caught before reaching the scene, they can simply discard the entire trick. I believe that acting cautiously is more in line with the behavior of an ordinary person than recklessly charging ahead without considering the situation. What do you think?
That's certainly a valid point. Alright, then let's include that in our calculations and try to deduce it. How? We don't know the alibis after 5 p.m., do we?
Well, since we're at it, why don't we just listen to them now? Those three guys over there, what do you do from 5 to 6 p.m. before our dinner gathering?
No, there's no need to do that, Tsubaki.
What?
During the investigation, I came across some pieces of information rather incidentally. Interestingly, just those alone are enough to figure out who the culprit is.
Who is it?
The time for atonement has arrived. No one in this space can stop me. No matter what anyone says, I will definitely point out the culprit myself. No, that's not true. Pick a different person. Change your mind.
Shinano?
Mr. Shinano is the culprit?
What is it? I can't believe it. Me neither, bro. I don't believe it. I'm not trusting him. I think he might have done it. He's not afraid of water.
Shinano, how could you do this? How could you?
No, I'm innocent. I simply called your name.
I see. Yeah, right. I knew I believed in you.
It's too late now. I'll remember this until the day I die. Okay, thank you, Miyuki. Why did you say his name? My boy. Anyway, does anyone remember what Shinano said after showing us the video of the dining hall?
How do you remember that?
Of course I remember. It went like this. That's it. There's over an hour of video left after this. Is it okay to stop here? We chatted among the three of us until the 6 p.m. dinner gathering. There was nothing special, so you don't need to watch it.
Where were you? Were you with Mikawa the whole time? I thought you wouldn't be able to hold out and would have bailed by then.
I just couldn't escape.
How embarrassing. It's all been recorded.
That's what you needed? Yeah, I didn't remember it very clearly either, so thanks for clarifying.
That's amazing. Seriously.
Yeah, that's right. Hearing that brings it all back. Shinano said that he stayed at the diner with Kana and Mikawa until 6 p.m. after that. After the group gathered at the diner for the evening gathering, I need a burp. Everyone acted together. There wouldn't have been a chance to visit the scene and switch the case. Right. Kana, Mikawa, everyone remembers, right? Yes, of course.
If we hadn't chatted, we would have been in big trouble.
Not we. just Shinano, so thank you, Kana.
You're definitely off the suspect list.
Yes! Yes!
And the remaining people?
Yes! It doesn't matter who it is! Let's go! I don't care about the other two. Oh, yeah. Next is the part where Shitanda testified to his alibi, stating that he was tagging along after Justin and Tadaira. Jumanji, do you remember this too? Not a problem. Yeah, I remember this too. We don't have to... so you just stopped at the dining hall briefly and left? I wonder what so the three of you went together the whole time until 6 p.m.?
That's probably how he is. He was like a leech that never let go for a single moment.
Yikes, critical hit.
You've been following her around for a while now. This could be easily called stalking, you know? Please refrain from doing that next time. It was like that. No need to explain, right? Shitanda, just like Shinano, didn't deviate from the path until 6 p.m. and remained near Tadaira and Justin. There wouldn't have been a chance to switch.
Affirmative. He was there, within always sight.
Then... Oh.
The moment when the denominator decreases from 2 to 1. All veils are stripped away, and in this moment, only one person remains within my sight. For the sake of this moment, I've barely held on to my heart, which feels like it's about to burst, all for this very moment. I raised my finger and pointed it forward to declare the only possibility left. There is no one else it could be but you. Whatever your name is, I don't even care about you, so. Kimi shika inai yo. Rintaro Tomo. That's impossible. I, Rintaro Tomo, am quite perplexed. Everyone seems to be giving me the cold shoulder. What's going on?
I guess it can be helped. Everyone knows by now, there are no more variables. There's no longer any room for the culprit to manipulate things, and there's no chance of the case taking another turn. You're the culprit.
No, but why are you so sure? Isn't it possible that there are other possibilities we haven't considered yet? You, of all people, Mr. Miyuki, would know better than anyone, having once been laid the culprit yourself, wouldn't you?
If anything, it is because I was the one desperately trying to find a breakthrough that I know this so well. There are no more loopholes in the logic we've established.
But this is unfair. How can you say I did something I truly did not do?
Saying it like that, it makes it hard to argue. Just focus on one thing, please. You don't even like looking for the culprit, do you?
Still, while it's undoubtedly true that one must be cautious when life is at stake, it's becoming hard to deny that we've truly reached the end.
No, but can we really just decide things like that? Are you sure there isn't some other trick we're not expecting?
I think we need to look into this a bit more thoroughly. Isn't there someone among us who has already thought of the idea of switching the case right away? We need to thoroughly examine whether the culprit has secretly tampered with anything else, or if there's something we overlooked.
That's right. Just as there have been 2 previous instances, couldn't new possibilities arise again? Arise.
I haven't seen Solo Leveling, but I just love Alex Lee. No, the verification on that has already been completed. Since we're at it, should I say it?
Yes, I would appreciate it if you could.
Think about it logically. How could the culprit know that the kid with the camera was going to bring the weapon to the library at 4:30 p.m. and then use that to set up the trick? Oh.
Wow, that's definitely true, isn't it? If Shinano didn't know they were bringing the weapon, it wouldn't have even crossed their mind as a trick, would it?
Was he interviewing Tomo at the time? The kid with the camera isn't the type to go around bragging about it, so if the culprit knew about it, there's only one possibility, right? It's about witnessing Shinano directly. I'm talking about Shinano walking down the hallway holding the album. I imagine they were hiding the toilet paper, then frantically running towards the private rooms when they bumped into someone. Right, of course. The culprit would have evaded the camera kid, and thus the camera didn't capture anything damning. Right. I saw no one or anything in between. Also, could you please stop calling me that way? The culprit, seeing that, figured from experience that it would take about 30 minutes to get to the library, and immediately incorporated that into their plan. Right.
The misfortune of almost being discovered after running into Mr. Shinano, becoming the starting point at the 30-minute mark, for yet another trick. That's what's so frightening.
But wouldn't that make the trick a little flimsy? There's no guarantee I went straight to the library with the book. I could have stopped by the bathroom on the way. We'll go over that later with a smoother explanation. For now, just keep it in mind.
What's up with you all of a sudden?
So, how does that connect to me being the culprit in any other way?
Let's go back to the story about encountering that camera kid. At the time, the culprit must have seen the album the camera kid was carrying. It just occurred to me. If you swap that with the weapon you had, you'll have an alibi. So, what would the culprit do as soon as possible?
That's probably... I don't know what Tomo did, so I'm just gonna... Yeah, meet with someone. Meet. Roadrunner. Anyway, meet with someone as soon as possible. If they swap the album Shinano left behind, wouldn't that flip the estimated time of the crime from before 4:30 p.m. to after 4:30? As the culprit, you need to meet someone before it's too late, so you can establish an alibi and finally benefit from the trick.
That's exactly it. Well then, let's take another look at your alibi. You lanky, good-for-nothing bastard.
Here, according to the list, also, that was a bit uncalled for.
Tomo's alibi is... went to the store at 30 minutes, had a conversation with Shitanda until 53 minutes. Right. I thought his alibi ended after he returned to his private room, but no, it continues on the next line. Gotcha. Went to the store at 30 minutes, had a conversation with Shitanda until 53 minutes, conducted an investigation, and returned to the private room. That's what you said? Starting just 30 minutes in, the fact that they coincidentally met someone who was already there is very similar to the suspect's movements, isn't it? Even more, considering that Shitanda was already there and that you were the one who visited.
It sounds like he was looking around to meet someone else, as if to create an alibi. So you're saying that he happened to meet Mr. Shitanda, who was there at the time?
Well, of course, it's impossible to identify the culprit just based on this, but if you pinpoint a specific person and compare, you can get this picture.
Your doubts that Shinano raised here are also resolved. For the culprit, the worst case scenario was that you'd head straight to the library. In other words, that you'd arrive there at 4:30 p.m. The earlier you put the album at the library, the harder it will be to establish an alibi. Frankly speaking, if they can't find a decent person within 30 minutes, they'll have to throw away all the tricks they've come up with down the drain. So, as the culprit, he would have felt relieved if he had an alibi for at least 30 minutes. I kind of understand, but then again, maybe not. Simply put, the culprit's biggest concern was the possibility that Shinano would arrive at 4:30 p.m. It seems like you're saying that it wouldn't have been a big problem if he arrived at the library even later. Am I understanding that correctly? Yes, correct. As expected from a leader.
Fair enough.
It is excessive to accuse me of being the culprit based solely on that. Isn't it just a mere assumption? There's no evidence whatsoever that Mr. Shinano and the culprit even met there, is there?
You say that after seeing the recent arguments. The moment that the culprit saw Shinano is now considered an established fact.
Oh.
And there's a continuation of that. How did the culprit know that the album Shinano was carrying was the 59th generation album? The case doesn't have any numbers written on it, and at best, they would only be written on the spine of the book.
Really? It can't just be a coincidence?
Isn't it just something they picked up from the book cart and put in there? Usually, when you return a book, you just put it on the book cart.
Isn't that an uncertain method? Although the crime may have been impulsive, the perpetrator's actions afterward were highly calculated. You wouldn't take a gamble like going back to the scene unless you had a near certain guarantee that the trick would work.
I think I know.
What? That is...
Do you remember? I showed you that video as evidence, right? Yeah? Did you talk to Tomo? I gotta be a classmate with such great people. I accidentally only brought the 59th class album. I think I should set aside and bring someone that. It's the video when he was walking, the ground corridor near the stairs of the building on the first floor of the school. Shinano keeps talking about the 59th generation as he walks to the library. Yes, that's how he knew. He just overheard it. The culprit listened to this and deduced that the album I'm moving is the 59th generation album, right?
Isn't that all there is to it? Even if the school building was wide and sounds could be heard from far away, if someone was not in close proximity to Shinano, it would have been impossible to know the detailed circumstances. In other words, the culprit was likely near Shinano when he was walking to return the books to the library.
Was I being watched then? Was Tomo hiding somewhere out of sight, watching me?
Oh, that's ridiculous! What do others think? Is there anyone who would, sorry, I can't yell as this guy for some reason. Is there anyone who has noticed the reason why I am not the culprit, or the possibility of a new deception? Miss Echo, do you have any idea at all? Anything would help.
How pathetic. Since you don't understand, you're clinging to others.
Well, I wouldn't go so far as to say it's pathetic. Even I felt almost exactly the same way before miraculously remembering my fear of water. So, do we have to wait until something else comes to mind?
That's gonna be a bit annoying. The suspects keep changing, which is entertaining to watch, but we can't stretch this out indefinitely.
There was no need for that in the first place, was there? That guy is definitely the culprit.
Mr. Shitanda, if that's the case, who was the culprit you initially suspected? Was it Mr. Tomo, or...
Why are you looking at me like that?
No, well... Alright, I'll just tell you straight. The culprit I suspect is Tomo.
So that's the case. He was looking at Kuzu, though. Did he also suspect Kuzu?
That's not...
Did I say too much? That felt like a knockout blow.
In that case, what if we do it like this? Actually, there was one mistake in my testimony. After meeting Mr. Shitanda at 4:30 p.m., Mr. Shitanda was away from his place for about 8 minutes. It was under the pretense of going to the restroom.
What do you mean? What are you talking about?
I might have overlooked it because 8 minutes seems like such a short time, but isn't 8 minutes actually enough time to go up to the library and commit a murder? So the suspect is no longer just me. How it matters now! One of the conditions of culprit, a person without alibi from 18 to 30 minutes, unnecessary from 30 minutes onward.
Isn't that because all those without an alibi between 30 and 47 minutes were eliminated as a suspect, opening up new possibilities? Based on Tomo's current testimony, the alibis of both Shitanda and Tomo have become less reliable, so there's no guarantee that the switching trick definitely took place. So that means Mr. Shitanda can't escape from the list of suspects either.
I see. Understood.
It's okay. If you happen to have any more things you don't understand, please let me know.
It's cute how they get along.
No, why are you even taking what they said seriously? It's obviously a ridiculous lie.
Of course it's a lie. I stayed right where I was.
Or how about the testimony that at around 4:20 p.m., I saw Mr. Miyuki going up the stairs?
See? It's all just nonsense. He keeps tempting us down various paths. This is the very image of a culprit, setting a trap itself.
Oh, so you're finally admitting it's not just a delusion, huh?
No, it's not what you're thinking. That means your deductions are a flimsy and superficial thing, vulnerable to being refuted at any moment. Please reconsider, please. I, Tomo Rintaro, though lacking in both ability and wit, humbly beg of you all, please find another way. Anyway is fine. You don't have to believe me. However, just one different possibility. Even though I thought everything was completely blocked, there's a tiny hole that exists. Just finding that one is enough for me. Please grant my request.
I'm trembling. In my vision, once clear like a silver coin, dark clouds returned to my thoughts. I said it with such confidence, but do I truly have an unwavering conviction that Tomo is the culprit? Even as all the evidence, all the logic leads to a single conclusion, could there still be a tiny possibility that opens a new path? Thinking too much. Why is that? It's a good habit to reconsider. Yeah, just let it go. Let it go. Can't hold it back anymore. Let it go. Let it go. Turn away and slam the door. All I need is the determination to break through this situation. If we can't come to a conclusion, All the deductions we've made until now are meaningless. No, Tomo. You are the culprit. It can't be any other way.
Oh?
In the end, is that what your conclusion is? After all this, isn't what you all really want is to just push me? Are you perhaps so tired of this ongoing mystery that you just want to quickly pick someone as the culprit and restore peace?
That's not it.
I, Rintaro Tomo, cannot allow that. For your sake, and for my sake, I cannot yield here. Even if you don't acknowledge me, I will struggle until the very end, because you're wrong!
To assert something so strongly, without definitive proof, it'll be hard to convince anyone.
Even if I'm not as sharp as Mr. Shitanda or Miss Ego, or even Mr. Miyuki, even if I'm not particularly capable, I only hope you know that my intentions for you have always been sincere. I will deny everything. Please follow along closely.
If I can present that definitive evidence, then this will be the end of the case. What definitive evidence? Non-stop debate, start! Okay, whose alibi? How do I pull it up again? Is it... Okay. Ego's alibi? No. What, unidentified piece of paper? Oh yeah, that too. Oh! This is an item picked from the desk where Tomo and the fingerprint identification team were working. However, it wasn't there from the start. It was a strange object that suddenly appeared during the conversation. Are we talking about his scarf? Are we talking about his scarf? How do I sort through my... No, hold on. Sorry, every time that I... Okay, Ego, and then Tomo's alibi. Okay, what was that? Stop at the warehouse and saw Ego and Mikael's faces. 1 minute later, left the warehouse and returned to my private room. At 30 minutes, I visited the store and connected some images. We'll talk in the street. I know until I was from my private room. Okay. Alright. Alright. Well, there's still evidence I haven't presented. What could this possibly pointing to? Okay, yeah.
You're probably thinking like this. You're cornering me with logic, aren't you? You're thinking you're one step away, right?
No, that's not it.
You don't even know how the killer obtained the weapon, do you? You also don't know the exact movements of the killer or the timeline of the crime. Furthermore, there's no evidence that the swap trick was carried out.
Isn't this evidence?
That's true, I suppose.
What you're discussing is just empty logic, theoretical at best. It's nothing more than mere imagination. It's impossible to convince everyone.
Okay, so that's the evidence that's been left behind, right? Boom! Boom? Thank you. Sore wa chigayo! Hey, get sore wa chigayo, bruh. Yeah, that little piece of your scarf, don't think I didn't notice it. Don't think I didn't notice that little piece of your scarf, Tomo. Don't think I didn't know that you're the culprit because you killed my best friend in the entire world and you're the character that I don't care about at all. So this is actually a kind of awesome chapter, except for the fact that my favorite character died, but at least another good character isn't dying. Boom! Get wrecked, Tomo. Nobody likes you. Hey, my bad. I got a little too overzealous there, but thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please like the video, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell icon, and I will see you in the next one, okay? Don't know how much we have left, but probably just like a couple more episodes, I'm guessing. No, an hour left, maybe? We'll see. Have a great day now, okay? Peace out.